Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my Afterthoughts review of Made in Manehattan. And I almost guarantee that someone on the MLP staff has lived in New York, because there's no way that they could get the tone of New York this well without actually living in New York. You know, we are really busy, but we're nice people too. Sometimes. Oh dear, but anyway, for starters, I'm so sorry for you, Twilight, that you're bored and everything, but yeah, I'm pretty certain she won't stay bored for long. Oh yes, I've decided to, in a way, the spirit of this episode, to take off my armor and just relax a little bit and make things a little bit more simple, because as much as I like my armor, it's nice to take it off sometimes. So anyway, the one big thing that I remember from this episode, yeah, is unfortunately that scene with the hay cart guy. I don't know, whatever. The guy with the mustache. It's like, I'm this busy executive. I don't possibly have time for something like that. And then he collapses into a boat and just relaxes and everything. In some ways, that made me feel terrible because I've been that guy from time to time. I mean, in a way, it's supposed to make you feel bad. It reminds me of a commercial one time. It's like where some woman is on like a donkey or something, and she's saying, "Oh, I'm so busy, I can't possibly do anything." But she's sitting on this donkey, and like implying that she's kind of on like vacation in Mexico or something somewhere. And so, oh dear. Yeah, it's like, this is why I would say this episode should have been dubbed the episode of truth. Or maybe, oh, the symbolism! This episode is definitely so true. It's almost always exactly the things that people say when people ask you for help and everything. It's like, nah, it's not a good time. Oh, you know, who am I kidding? It's never a good time. Oh no! It's like, unfortunately, that is so true. Is that we're all busy, we all have stuff to do, and oh dear. And it's like, yeah, it's like, I've got problems of my own. I don't have time to worry about anybody else's. Oh, that's sad. But the good news is they all come around and they learn, well, that's not necessarily true. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to the beginning of this episode. Interesting combo, Rarity and Applejack. And it was really cool to see Manehattan again. Yo! This is only the second time we've been here at any quote-unquote official capacity. But that does raise an interesting point, is that I was sort of addressed in Sasama Shan's video, is that it's really strange that Applejack feels so uncomfortable here, because she's been here twice before. Once when she was a filly, and the second in Rarity Takes Manehattan, and she seemed to be okay then, but at the same time, it makes total sense that she'd be like, oh my gosh. Yeah, when Twilight says, you're more of a country pony at heart. She's not more of a country pony at heart, she is a country pony. So for her to be in this big city with the hustle and bustle and trying to cross the streets, and, hey, get out of my way! She's so out of her element here. So yeah, I could definitely see why she'd be anxious and like, about being at this place. And it's like, what do I have to contribute here? It's like, I'm a country pony in the big city. What can I possibly do here? And that's in a way sort of the whole sub-lesson of this episode, is that we should always resist it when we think this way. Because that's usually not true. We can all contribute in some ways, even when we think we can't. And again, that's the other thing I like about this episode, is that it's going through this whole thing of, in a way, again, I'm going to use the metaphor of the Force. The Force guides you to go somewhere, and you won't have any idea why. And you'll be confused and wondering, why am I here? What can I possibly do here? And I like how, all I'm gonna say is, I think a force from above is literally throwing the clue in their face. It's like, here, go do this already. And I like that. And in some ways, such things do happen, is that, sometimes we will literally have the clue be put in front of us, that it didn't make sense at first, but now it does, and everything. I like that. And of course, we got to see Coco Pabel. In some ways, she didn't really have a lot to do in this episode, but it was really cool to see her back, and I'm glad to see her really trying to help out and take the place of this pony, and bring back the Midsummer revival and everything. Again, that is so another truthful thing about the situation, is that, yeah, someone will start something like this up, but then there won't be anyone to keep it going. Even though Coco has taken this on herself, she can't do it all alone, and unfortunately the rest of the community is just basically not with her and not supporting her, and And that's a shame. But anyway, but the good news is that, Rarity and Applejack are here to help her and, try to make things right and everything. I like that. And, poor Applejack. She tried so hard. And she almost was crushed by a statue. Her hat was destroyed and worked herself to the bone. Poor Applejack. We appreciate your sacrifice, though. And I did like, the resolution, because, it's like everyone came together in this community, even just a little bit, and they realized, our own little insignificant contributions, when added all up together, can actually add up to something far greater. And I like that. And I did like the Midsummer Revival as well in itself, that it had an interesting role in a way in this story, is that it's actually in a way telling the backstory in some ways of what happened with the first pony who did this. It's sort of showing almost way her story, but it's also supporting the main lesson of, it's like, it's not bridal way. It's like, tish tosh, that doesn't matter. It's like, and of course, I like that. I sort of like that Jewel thing. And it was so cool to watch all the ponies, walking up one at a time. And, I especially like that construction worker pony. It's like, my pop used to bring me here. That was so nice and so touching. Reminds me when my dad used to bring me to things like this too. It's just so great to see a community and a good team come together. It's so touching. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. And that's what I love about this episode. This is why Twilight could not come here. This is why Rarity and Applejack had to be the ones to come here. Because the goal here isn't to snap your fingers with magic or what have you and just put on this show for the sake of putting on this show. That's ultimately really not the reason for the Midsummer Revival anyway. The real purpose is to bring the community together by having them participating in this play. Whether it be pulling weeds and planting flowers, or cooking food, or making costumes, or building stages, whatever it is that pony can contribute, all those things together can make this possible. And then at the end, they can all enjoy this show and everything. And that was the point. This is why Twilight could not just come here and magically fix everything, because that won't fix the real problem. That won't accomplish the mission that they've been set out to do. And I like that in itself, and I just like that it's up to each of us to, in a way, make the Midsummer Revival come together and come and be possible. I like that, I really do. Again, there's such truth there that, and it's just so awesome. I just love it. And again, something that I think a lot of the YouTubers and people in general can understand is that, simplifying things is definitely the way to go. Or more precisely, you can't focus on what you can't do. You have to focus on what you can do. Because, a lot of people don't have the resources to go and do the kinds of videos that some other people can do. So you have to focus on what you can do. As I like to say, you have to find your cutie mark. You have to find your way. Not DigiBrony's way, not Brony Curious's way, not my way, not Dr. Wolf's way. You have to find the way that works for you. Can't help but comment on this. This is why my afterthought format was created this way, because I just don't have the time to sit and do an official review every week, a reaction video, and possibly, a focus on video. I just don't have the time to do it all myself. I just can't. And if I tried, I'd drive myself insane and I'd go nuts and I'd blow myself apart and blah. I do have to comment a little bit on that. I've seen it's like when someone asks us for help, we should be willing to offer it. But at the same time, we also have to give ourselves a little bit of time, because otherwise we'll blow ourselves apart and blah. Gotta rest sometime. As Blue Star's father said to Blue Star one time, resting is just as important as working hard, because without it, there's nothing left to fight with. But at the same time, I do have to say that, yes, we should definitely be willing to offer our help whenever we can, especially when someone walks up to you and asks for it. But that's the other thing that this episode is trying to say, is that when someone does that, it doesn't mean that you have to commit all of your time, is that you can help out in small ways that maybe you didn't think was significant or valuable, but they still can make a difference. You don't have to make a big, huge commitment. That a small commitment can still be worthwhile. And I really like that. Because unfortunately, that pony is right. Is that, in this day and age, Who has the time for these big commitments? And honestly, that in some way is a sublist in itself, is that maybe we need to maybe stop and reevaluate. Why is that? Why are we so busy that we don't have time to do these kinds of things? But even so, this doesn't mean that we can't make a difference. It just means that we have to do what we can and not focus on what we can't do. And I definitely support that idea. And I really liked what this episode was trying to do. And it was just so awesome, and it was cool, and yes! From a purely analytical standpoint, in some places it's kind of slow. But overall, I really like what this episode was trying to do. And I think it accomplished it very well. And I think it's just so touching to see a community come together, even for something as simple as a play. It's just so nice, and there's hope for us yet, I tell you. And I hope it inspires all of you to somehow find a way to make a difference, whether it's big or small. Remember, one pony can make a difference. So that is the end of my afterthought review of Made in Manehattan. This is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.